England versus Spain, cannabis systems. What are the differences? When people talk about cannabis laws, I often hear people say that Spain is better than England or England is better than Spain. The reality is that both systems are very different and both have their strengths and weaknesses. Having been involved in cannabis activism in the UK and having lived in Spain and run cannabis club for several years, I've experienced both systems from a practical point of view. In England, medical cannabis became legal in 2018. Patients can obtain prescriptions through specialist doctors. Although access can still be difficult for many people, and most prescriptions are obtained through private clinics rather than the NHS. One thing I do think the UK system gets right is that medical cannabis patients are seeing doctors rather than bud tenders. If somebody has cancer, multiple sclerosis, chronic pain, epilepsy, or another serious medical condition, I think there's a real value in having a healthcare professional involved in that conversation. A doctor can consider medications, medical history, potential interactions, and ongoing health issues in a way that a cannabis club simply isn't designed to do. That's one of the strengths of the UK medical model, even though access can still be expensive and difficult for many patients. In Spain, things work very differently. Spain has historically had more tolerant approach towards personal cultivation and private consumption. And cannabis clubs developed within that environment. However, many people misunderstand the Spanish system. Cannabis is not fully legal in Spain, and the situation can be complicated depending on where you live, local regulations, and how the law is interpreted. One advantage of the Spanish system is that cannabis clubs created community and social spaces where people could access cannabis in a more open environment than was traditionally possible in the UK. I've also seen many people benefit from a sense of community that clubs can provide. For some people, clubs become places where they could talk openly about cannabis, share experiences, and connect with others who have similar interests and needs. And on the other hand, the legal framework in Spain is often less clear than many people assume. The rules can change, and cannabis clubs have faced increasing legal and regulatory challenges over the years. So people may ask, which system is better? I don't think there's a simple answer. If I'm being honest, I think the answer depends on what you're looking for. From a medical point of view, if somebody has a recognised medical condition and can access the system, I do think the English model has advantages. Patients are speaking to a doctor's. Their medical history is being considered. Cannabis is being treated as part of healthcare. From a recreational or social point of view, I think Spain's club system has historically offered something that England simply hasn't had. Clubs created community, social spaces, and a different relationship with cannabis culture. For me, it's not really a question of which system is better, it's more a question of what the system is trying to achieve. If you're looking for cannabis as a medicine, I think the English system has some important strengths. If you're looking for cannabis from a recreational and community perspective, then the social club model has its own strengths. That's why I think both systems have their positives, both systems have their negatives, and both systems have room for improvement. For me, the most important thing is that people understand the reality of both systems rather than relying on myths or assumptions. As somebody who has spent many years involved in cannabis activism, education, and running a cannabis club, I've seen both the benefits and the limitations of each approach. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments. I'm Sarah Sativa, and thank you for watching.